Hello everyone, I'm Chestic44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Horizon Forbidden West. Last episode, we went back over to Legacy's Landfall here and took care of a small quest for a guy trying to find his brother. Unfortunately, his brother was dead, and we brought back a map that he happened to have. But there is another quest we have up here, so let's go take a look and see what it is.
How? There's no...
I promise you, we'll find a way home.
Harium, we're never getting that gyro compass back. We're stuck here. For good.
The Ancestor reborn.
May we be led to truth.
Jess, Aloy, what's this I hear about you never going back home?
Our navigational ships.
They're all gone. Destroyed by storms and reefs, and with them the one instrument we need to guide us across the ocean.
There is one ship that might still hold a working gyro compass.
But it's beyond our reach, beached on an island surrounded by deadly currents. No compass, no way home, no way back to those we should have never left behind in the first place.
Christia.
Left behind?
You mentioned you left someone behind?
My wife, Meandra. She works the field in the Great Delta. When I was chosen for this mission, she begged me not to come. She was scared I wouldn't return. And like always, she was right. I left without saying goodbye, and now I won't ever see her again.
So, who are you?
So you two are soldiers?
Navigators, actually. I'm Harium, and this is Christia.
So you two know how to use this instrument?
The gyro compass. Only I know how to read it. The diviners trained me. Harium was chosen to memorize the charts found in the Legacy.
So you can't navigate the fleet without each other?
It is the Quen Way. The greater the knowledge held by one person alone, the greater the risk it'll be used against the Empire, should we be captured by our enemies.
Hmm.
Your tribe sure is... cautious.
And a gyro compass?
So what is this gyro compass you're looking for?
It's a device used by the ancestors to help pinpoint a ship's location. But it only works if the readings are compared to a chart.
How'd you get your hands on something like that?
I guess it's safe to tell you, since you carry the gift of the ancestors. The diviners found them on ancient vessels back in our homeland, and modified them so we could use them on our ships. Without them, we're at the mercy of the seas.
And where's this beached ship?
You said what you need is on a ship somewhere.
Yes. The ship we were stationed on. The night we approached landfall, a sudden squall hit the fleet. While some ships managed to find safe harbor here, ours ran aground. The crew abandoned ship, hoping the ocean would spare us.
I thought we'd drown for sure. Thank the ancestors, we somehow got washed up on a beach southwest of here. Scouts found us and brought us to landfall. Not that it matters. The only ship with the gyro compass is grounded and surrounded by deadly currents.
Well, maybe I can help.
Maybe I can help.
Not unless you can fly.
I can't do that. But if I find a way, I'll come back.
She's an ancestor reborn. Maybe she really can help.
I will not let myself hope just yet, but I thank you for your kindness.
So, is that another quest that we're not going to be able to do until later? Yep, on hold until the Wings of the Ten has been completed. Ooh! I can talk to Katalu to finish that.
Is that...
But with little
I
else
don't
to
think I can get
do,
to that ship. At least, not now.
we got nothing else to do here. Let's head back to the base. I mean, we've got people to talk to in there anyway. Including new companion! Eee! I look forward to showing her everything we have. Alright, into the base. Ooh, Quite a bit to talk about here.
And dirt. Don't forget all that dirt we had to bring in.
If we're going to go around trying to protect life, we should have more of it around.
I think it looks nice.
Ah, I see where she is. Alright, well, let's talk with everyone. You first, Erend.
There she is. I hear you found Thebes. How was it?
Maniacs, lava. What's not to like?
I'll remember that next time I go traveling.
Huh.
At least I got what we needed to trap Hephaestus.
Good thing I got my gear ready then.
So, speak of your training.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Erend.
Alright, and companions?
Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
Alright, well, let's move on.
I should get going.
As soon as you want us heading out to those cauldrons.
I'll give you the heads up.
Okay, then. How about you, Varl?
From the look on your face, I'd say the mission was a success.
I got Omega clearance. Is everyone ready to head out to Cauldron Gemini?
As soon as you give the word.
Did Alva make it here all right?
Our new Quen friend. The moment she laid eyes on the archives, she jumped on them like a long leg.
Sounds about right.
Your training?
Once Gaia is back up and running, I expect you to put all your training to good use.
The seeds have been planted. All they need is a chance to bloom. What? I thought that was pretty good. Zoe liked it.
I'm glad you and Zoe found each other.
Don't forget, you're to blame for that.
In a way, yeah. And you have something to say about the Zeniths.
Now that I have Omega clearance, we can grab Hephaestus and finally have the advantage over the Zeniths.
Can't wait to see their faces as they stare down a bunch of charging Thunderjaws.
Better them than us, for once. I
All
should
right.
go get this to Gaia.
Well-
Of course. Let us know when we're needed.
We will speak to Gaia in a bit. I just need to talk to everyone in the base. Next up, Zoe.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Have you met our new Quen guest yet?
I could barely keep up as she gave herself a tour of the base. Varl gave her a new focus. Though when he told her she was free to access all the data we had here, she turned so pale, I thought she'd faint on the spot. We showed her to the archive room so she could see for herself.
Perfect.
She hasn't left the place since.
That
Sounds
doesn't
like
surprise
Alva.
me. Your training.
Read anything interesting lately?
I found out the old ones use leaf infusions like the Utaru do. Tea, they call it. Apparently it helped soothe them.
In some
That
ways.
and some sort of scented wax they used to cleanse their aura. Plus something called bubble baths.
Huh.
Me, I think I'll stick to singing to calm the nerves.
Yeah, everyone had their own thing.
How are things with everyone?
Slightly quieter. Aaron's been busy scouring data on his newest obsession. Apparently the old ones wrestled machines as some kind of performance.
Huh.
Called it metal versus meat. A must-see battle between steel and flesh, as Aaron likes to put it. You'd think we have enough of that going around as it is.
Alright, well,
I need to get
yeah,
going.
she's kinda right.
Right.
There's plenty of it going
We'll
around.
retrieve the Omega clearance. That means we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. I'll make sure my gear's ready.
Perfect. That said, let me also give a quick speak to Katalo.
Aloy, well met. We've been briefed on our mission, and are ready whenever you wish to head to Cauldron Gemini.
Were you able to finish the new arm Gaia was helping you with?
Indeed. I was hoping we could discuss it, if you have a moment.
I certainly do. I'll just ask the other things first. Your training?
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more about the world of the Old Ones.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for, and learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was wiped out by a mistake. A single miscalculation. There is no glory or honor in such a fate. Only hubris and pointless death.
That about sums it up.
And how about companions?
Have you spoken with Alva?
The Quen is peculiar. Nothing like a Tenakth. Her mind is sharp, that much is certain. But it's hard to imagine her surviving in the wilds.
Trust me, she's tougher than she looks.
I will take your word for it.
Indeed, she's a huge nerd. And let's test the arm then.
You wanted to talk about your arm?
Indeed. It's time to test it. And I want you to be there.
Okay. How are we doing this?
Not how. Where. Will you meet me where we felled Regalla's tremor tusk?
Oh.
Right where the river bends.
Sure, if you want, but I'm not sure I understand.
You'll see when we get there. I promise.
Then I'll let you know when I get close.
You have my thanks, Aloy.
Alright, I'll be there in a
Have to
bit.
go now.
I just need to talk to
Then
Alva
do not
first.
Let me keep you.
Like I said, I'll call you when I'm close to Regalla's old outpost near the bulwark.
May the Ten guide your way.
Now I remember where it is. Okay, but first things first. Oh, I didn't even notice we had this. That's nice. Okay, Alva, I'd love to hear about what you've been seeing here.
Aloy,
Right to work, I see.
there's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's Hephaestus, and...
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
Indeed.
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall.
Alright then. Let's start by speaking of the Quen. I love the idea from your culture. The concept is great here. Speak of the CO.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Faro, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Faro, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Faro spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named CO, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire. The living embodiment of Ted Faro, a renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
And yet, it turns out it had a good end result. Or it will.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse. But nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door. And more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CO became was a complete perversion of what principled diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
Indeed. Speak of Bohai.
So, Bohai, your overseer. Will he run things better than CEO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right.
Alright, so speak of the forbidden knowledge.
Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire.
Censorship.
Like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
I see. Controlled release of knowledge. Understandable in some cases. In others, well, it depends on what exactly you're controlling. Speak of the ancestors.
The ancestors. Is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
Aye, things changed a lot in the decade after. What about your family?
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners. Peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
Sounds harsh.
To control the information.
The we keep. Diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
That's the idea. Alright. Well, I'd love to hear your opinion on the Zeniths.
Eric Visser? How do you know about him?
The Zenith who tried to kill you? He is known to the Quen as the Protector. combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors. But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
Well, at least you're piecing together the truth.
If only the overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena, and Gerard.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever legacy they left behind, the Diviners haven't recovered.
Fair enough, then. Alright, let's hear about your training.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how Diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the Overseers would actually let us study.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A Diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them.
Well, it's not like I've
But
tried to.
I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
I keep saying this over and over, but the Quen fascinate me. The idea of the culture that's actually going out and learning from this and putting it all together. And it feels like what they're building here, story-wise, it sounds like this is people from China, and the people there managed to rebuild China, rebuild the Chinese Empire in a way. They just call it the Quen now, instead of China. And I feel like something that could happen here. If there is a third Horizon game, what I'd love to see is Alva brings Aloy back with her to the Quen Empire. But once she comes back, bringing all of this knowledge and all this information from the period of time after, I feel like that could end up starting a whole revolution and even a whole schism in this government that they made between those who want to hold power and keep the knowledge that they have been raised on, and those who read about the new knowledge that is brought back of the past 10 years that completely upends everything they knew, as well as information on how the world ended and how everything fell, and the difference that happened in the 10-15 years after the end of what they knew. I feel like that, the idea of bringing all this knowledge back, seeing a completely new culture again, and seeing how the arrival of the new knowledge changes everything, would be a fantastically interesting game to play through. And I would love to see through that. I have no idea if they would go through that, but I want to see it so badly.
I imagine you don't know anyone here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because one of your friends is, well, another you. Not that you are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobek, but even so, you're different.
Yeah, we are. I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. They've all been extremely welcoming. And they share the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely. It's refreshing. Back home, Diviners can only share data with the permission from the Overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
And that's all there is there.
I need to get going, but if you need anything...
All I need is to help you succeed in your mission. The plan Gaia told me about, to capture Hephaestus, it will help set things right.
I hope so.
then, I will do whatever I can. I promise.
Alright then. One other thing I need to look at. I would like to see if Beta has anything to add. I have a feeling the answer is probably no. Oh, I can't even go in there. Interesting. Well, okay then. I guess I can't speak with Beta. And while I would go to Gaia, I want to finish off what was lost first.
We're fighting immortals from the stars now? Looks like it. What's next? Wizards from the moon?
Alright, well, I am going to go ahead and end this episode here. Next episode, I'm going to go meet Katalo at the meeting place. And see about completing what I'd like to complete. And, yeah, let's see his new arm. But that'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Cheswick44, also known as Fly. That is Aloy. This has been a Let's Play of Horizon Forbidden West. And I shall see you all next time.